Hey guys, it's Tim, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited, as it's Monday, and that means tonight was Monday Night Raw. As far as tonight's Monday Night Raw does go, I liked tonight's show, and honestly, I thought tonight's show kind of like flew by. It seemed like, to me at least, felt like a quick episode of Raw. Like, it was 3 hours, but it didn't feel like your normal long 3 hours of Raw. So I thought that was a positive, and we got a good amount of story progression for a number of different things leading into Night of Champions 1 week from this Saturday. But we got Luke back with us. What's going on, Luke? What do you think of tonight's Raw, and how have you been?
Honestly, I kind of thought tonight's Raw, it was a very interesting show. To me, it was like one of those Raws that gets you excited for next week because of the amount of things that they did on this show, if that makes sense.
Right. They announced.
As far as how I've been,
Go for it.
I just got back from schools. I mean, I'm on for summer break. Just got done with finals, so I'm pretty excited about that. So.
Oh, you're done for the summer?
Oh yeah, I'm done. Yeah.
Okay, because my kids, I think, still have like 2.5, 3 more weeks.
Dang.
Yeah, I think theirs is like first week of June, maybe. So, almost there. But like you were saying, it felt like they announced a lot of stuff. I mean, they announced 3 things for next week's Raw, but I thought we got, in my opinion, really good. What I really liked tonight was they made Night of Champions feel important as far as the next pay-per-view. Like, they made that show feel like it's a big-time, important show you really kind of not going to want to miss. Unlike sometimes when it's like, oh, we got a show coming up, then this match, and this match are on it, but whatever. No. They did a good job making you feel like not only is the show going to be important, but that they're going to have matches that mean something. Like, and I'll talk about it later, I really liked the backstage interaction we got with Gunther and Mustafa Ali. But we'll talk about all that and more once we get into it. But again, this is our Monday Night Raw review. We do it on Mondays, and we do it a myriad of different ways, whether that's live on Twitch, twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, or live or listening later on YouTube, youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, or you can catch it, listen, podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below, or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel, one of 2 different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime. Because remember, if you have Amazon Prime or access to anybody's Amazon Prime account, whether that's your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your grandma, your grandpa, your auntie, your uncle, don't just use it to watch the new Matt Damon and Ben Affleck movie Air, which I watched last night, and that movie is fan-frickin-tastic. But also use it to link it to your Twitch account and get a Prime Gaming account. And then you can get a bunch of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you get 1 free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And you can do so right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember to head over to YouTube, hit that join button to become a channel member. And finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game like Star Wars Jedi Survivor, buying an old game, or you're claiming the free games, which right now is actually not a free game, but it's free packs for The Sims 4, well, then you can use code PWU NLIMITED at checkout and support us on the Epic Game Store. Or if you're trying to get into that new season of Fall Guys, trying to get that Darth Vader in Fortnite, but you need to spend 1,000 V-Bucks to get into the challenge, well, use this code PW Unlimited at checkout, whether that's on your computer through the Epic Game Store, or on your PlayStation, Xbox, or Nintendo Switch through Fortnite, Fall Guys, or Rocket League. I always want to say Rumbleverse, but that game went and it's dead. Rocket League, you'll be supporting us at no extra cost. As far as Monday Night Raw does go, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn opened up the show to a huge reaction from the crowd in Greensboro, North Carolina. Zayn spoke about their upcoming tag team title defense against Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa at the Night of Champions pay-per-view. Zayn said that this match was actually a gift because it gives them the chance to actually get revenge on Roman Reigns. Zayn said Owens should have been the one to beat Roman at the Royal Rumble, and Zayn should have been the one to beat him in Montreal. But if Kevin would have beat him at Rumble, then why would they have done? I don't know. I'm looking too much into that. It wouldn't have made sense, because if Kevin ended up the champion from beating him at Rumble, then they wouldn't have needed to do the title match and not a champ. I don't know. Anyways, Zayn said that Reigns has cheated his way to the top and has gone unchecked for far too long. He was now pushing things a little too far. He said that Reigns has pushed the Usos too far, and even his title reign. Being champion for as long as he has wasn't enough, and now he wants more gold, the tag titles. Zayn got fired up and called Reigns a psycho, and said that Reigns can never have their belts. Out would then come the Judgment Day. Owens was actually glad to see them because he was sick of talking about the bloodline. Owens invited them to get in the ring and to fight before they could actually say anything. Zayn calmed down Kevin and said that they didn't have any issues with Judgment Day. Zayn wanted to hear them out, hear what they had to say, and speak like gentlemen. And Dominic Mysterio. Damian Priest said that he would love to fight Kevin Owens. And Owens responded, "See, I told you. They want to fight." Finn Balor and Priest said that Owens and Zayn were back where they started, getting beat up by Roman Reigns. Balor said the line started with them. And Rhea Ripley, who cheered she said, "We run Monday Night Raw." Still with the blue Raw SmackDown belt. Are they ever going to switch them? Or is she just going to be the SmackDown Women's Champion on Monday Night Raw? I don't get that at all. Zayn then wanted to hear from Dom. He goes, "I want to hear what you have to say, because these people like reacting loudly when you speak, and I want to hear what they do." And Dominic started to talk, and Owens goes, "So, what he's saying is pointless. Can I just punch him in the face?" And finally, Sammy's like, "Yeah, okay, let's go." And he goes to punch Dom, but Rhea gets in the way. Priest and Balor then deck Owens and Zayn and chase them off with a chair. They decked Owens, so Zayn chased him off with a chair. We then learned that Owens and Zayn will have a non-title match later in the night against Balor and Priest. I thought this was a good, solid opening segment. What'd you think?
Honestly, I thought Kevin Owens did really well on the mic tonight.
Yes.
He did fantastic. When I heard this guy, I was like, man, he's like really going into it tonight.
Well, even later with Gunther.
Oh, yeah. He's like, "I already know what you guys want. You guys want to fight."
Yeah. I like that. He's like, "I told you. Look, I told you." We then got a 10-minute match with Shinsuke Nakamura and The Miz. Miz took control early on before a commercial break, but Nakamura was back on the offense when we returned. Miz fought out of an armbar and hit a DDT for a near fall. Miz used the it kicks, but Nakamura ducked the last one and hit an enziguri for a 2. Nakamura blocked a skull-crushing finale for a second time in the match and hit a sliding German suplex. Miz held onto the ring skirt as the referee went to fix it. Miz poked Nakamura in the eye. Miz finally hit the skull-crushing finale, and as the ref was counting 1, 2, Nakamura put his leg on the ropes to break the cover. Quickly thereafter, they both got to their feet. Nakamura hit a Kinshasa and pinned Miz to pick up the victory. Nakamura really over with the crowd here tonight. What did you think of the match?
Match was solid. Honestly, like, I thought Nakamura was going to be like the guy to be like the first champion, because like they brought this guy back. They really kind of like changed him.
Mhm.
So I was like, all right, maybe he could be the first champion. But it's like, dang, now they're just making it too obvious that like Seth's gonna win.
See, the whole thing about Seth is that Seth is the one guy that Roman never pinned or submitted. Now Nakamura neither, because I don't think Nakamura, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think Nakamura actually ever challenged Roman for the belt. But as far as everybody that did, Seth is the one guy that Roman didn't like solidly just beat. And that is the whole reasoning of this guy's the guy that deserves this belt, because he never actually truly lost to Roman Reigns. That's the justification of it's just a what's the word I'm looking for? A consolation second place belt. Well, putting it on Seth, they're hoping that they can say, well, this is a guy that's an equal to Roman.
I wonder how long Seth would hold the belt then if he's the first champion, which will most likely will be.
I would want to say at least 6 months, but who knows? Because if he wins it at the end of May, so you've got June, July, August, September, October, November would be 6 months. Maybe he holds it and loses it in January at the Rumble, so like 7-8 months. I would say you got to give him a solid title reign. I don't think this can be a 2-3 months later he loses it, unless maybe they have him lose it with Money in the Bank. But I think if
I
Seth,
can honestly see him. I can honestly see him holding that belt until like next year's Mania, and he loses it then.
That'd be an interesting one, because the whole thing of Roman's had the title for too long. Now we're going to put it on somebody else that never loses it. So, but I do think he should hold it for at least 6 months to solidify that championship reign. Like, this is a reign that goes on a guy that is at every show, that is at every tour on the weekends. He's there, he's fighting, he's doing it. So, yeah. I think he needs to have a significant 5-6 month reign at least. So, go to the back with Adam Pearce, and he's letting Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green know that their tag team title match tonight will not be taking place because, well, Liv Morgan was actually injured on SmackDown. So we learned maybe 30 minutes before Raw via a report from Fightful that Liv is injured and will not be competing. Now, this morning, like when I did the Wrestling Wrap-Up podcast, the end of that show on Mondays, I always go to WWE.com and I show the rundown for Raw, what WWE officially has on their website. And the match was there. So between noon Pacific and 4 Pacific, the match got pulled from WWE's website because I didn't check it between those 2 hours. So by the time when I checked it at noon, it was still there. And then when, the report came out from Fightful between 4 and 4:30, it was gone. And people had noticed a little bit before that it was gone, and that's why Fightful looked into it and got the report. So Liv is injured. We don't know the severity of the injury. We don't know what the injury is, but it was an injury caused or suffered during the tag title match with Damage Control back on Friday. So as far as tonight goes, Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville called this a conspiracy against them. And then Raquel said something about she would defend the titles by herself. And Adam Pearce says she can't do that. So then she's like, okay, how about I take on one of them? How about I, in Liv's honor, take on Chelsea? And Adam Pearce is like, well, you know what? I can make that happen for tonight. So it was Raquel Rodriguez versus Chelsea Green. Rodriguez told her, then said, I'll see you in the ring, Karen, or something along those lines. You have any thoughts on this segment?
I mean, that is part of Chelsea Green's gimmick, is she is a Karen. So.
And they're lumping Sonya in with that now, too, making her kind of one.
I mean, I've always said, like, Carmella would have been the best, like, person with
Yes,
Chelsea,
I agree.
But, like, obviously Carmella is out.
Yep.
I'd say
for a
Sonya's
while.
probably the best next for a while, but I'd say Sonya's definitely, like, the next best thing
to
throw Chelsea.
For sure. In the back, Imperium was shown walking through the back, and Akira Tozawa did a 180 and walked away. This was funny because this is basically what he did last week too. So if you didn't see last week, he was with so Rhea and Dom are being interviewed backstage, and we hear laughing. So they stop their interview, and Dom's like, "Hey," and it walks up Woods and Tozawa, and Dom's like, "Hey, you guys need to show respect to mommy. She's being interviewed and you're interrupting her interview." And Woods and Dom start going back and forth. And then when Rhea steps up, we see Tozawa and he goes, oh, walks off. Like, oh, I don't want to deal with Rhea. And he did the same thing tonight when he's backstage. And here comes Gunther and Vinci and Kaiser. He sees them and he's like, oh, nope, I'm going the other way. I think that's funny. He does it very well, playing it off and everything. So I liked that. I like that a lot. I can use Tozawa's comedy as a plus. He's not a ninja anymore, which is good. What was really good tonight were these Seth Rollins sit-down videos with Corey Graves. I think they need to do more of these with Corey. I really do.
You need to do some with AJ on SmackDown,
yeah,
though.
have either Michael Cole or Wade Barrett do them on SmackDown. But I think these are really good segments, and I like the way they broke them up into 2 parts. Now, for SmackDown, maybe just do a 1-part one. Doesn't need to be 2 because you only got 2 hours there. But I liked the way they broke it up on Raw. And I think, again, we should get more of these. Going into big title matches or big matches, whatever, Corey Graves should interview people backstage in a little sit-down thing. I liked it a lot. I thought this is something they need to do more of, even if it's not every week, maybe every other week or something, but give us a couple a month. So Corey sat down with Seth Rollins for an interview, and then went all the way back to when Rollins was crowned the first ever NXT champion in 2012. They also showed the clip of Dusty handing him the belt and raising his hand. Rollins said change was needed in the business back then, and he had the vision. Becoming the first NXT champion allowed him to pave the way. Graves then moved on to Rollins' debut with the Shield and asked why he turned on them. Rollins said that they beat everybody there was to beat, and if he wanted to reach the ultimate pillar of success, he knew that he had to take a risk. And the risk was that chair shot that people still talk about till today. We then cut to Imperium coming out to the ring, and they tell us that part 2 of this interview will come later on in the show. So I really like these. What did you think of this first part of the Seth Rollins sit down with Corey Graves?
I thought it was pretty good. Like I said, I mean, you start doing something with AJ on SmackDown.
Yes.
Because if you don't do something with AJ, you're just making it really obvious that Seth's winning. At least I like build up AJ a lot to like make it fans seem like AJ could also win.
Yes.
He's also a strong possibility.
So Gunther, Ludwig Kaiser, and Giovanni Vinci walk down to the ring, and Gunther immediately just gets on top of the announce table. And I go, and the camera's like looking up at him, and I go, man, does this guy just come off as a badass? And so Vinci does the intro, the ring general, Gunther. And then he hands Gunther the mic. Gunther said that he dominated SmackDown as the undefeated and longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of the modern era, which they still haven't told us what the modern era is. Is the modern era 2016 with the last draft? Is the modern era 2013 when they first unified the belts with John Cena and Randy Orton? I think that was 2013. Maybe that's 2011. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is modern era when they bought WCW? 2001 is modern era with the first WWE draft, 2002. We still don't know what modern era is because it's like they say that Bianca Belair is the longest reigning women's champion of the modern era. But what's the modern era? Just since they split the brands and had 2 belts or what? Like 2 women's belts? I don't know. He said that he planned on continuing his domination on Raw. That is his mission. Yet a challenger needs to be determined. He says, or earn his respect. He then said that the winner of this upcoming Battle Royal will challenge him at Night of Champions for the title. And then they made Kevin Patrick look like a big fat dummy. Where Kevin Patrick goes, oh, we just got the announcement of a number 1 contenders Battle Royal. And I'm like, bruh, we've known this since Friday. This isn't new. Gunther didn't come out here and just all of a sudden announce this. We've known this since Friday. But you got any comments on Gunther's little speech here?
I thought he did freaking tastic in this.
Oh, yeah.
At first, I was kind of confused. I was like, why is this guy standing on the announce table?
Make himself look bigger than he is.
I was like, oh. That's because they were going to, watch the Battle Royal from there.
Right.
Yeah, I thought this was a great opening segment to, before the Battle Royal.
Yeah, great way to introduce Gunther on Raw. Because if you think about it, he's never been on Monday Night Raw before that I can think of. He was NXT UK, NXT, and then SmackDown. He
actually has.
Has?
Multiple times, actually.
Oh, well, my bad.
I know his first time on Raw was when he was NXT UK champion, when he was that segment with, Seth Rollins. They had a match there as Imperium.
Let's see. I'm going to go back and look really
It wasn't,
fast.
Officially on the main roster yet.
Right. Let's see if we can. Okay, so this says that Gunther was on Raw July 4th, 2022.
That was a weird one.
Okay, I remember this now. When he came out and he beat up Uncle Sam R-Truth. I remember that now. And then this says, when was this one? Huh? Is this on Raw? Hold on. Is this on Raw? Him versus Dolph Ziggler? From when? It says March of this year. Yeah. That's interesting. I don't remember that at all. It was like 2 months ago. He was on Raw against Dolph Ziggler. I have no recollection of that match whatsoever. That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't remember that one.
Yeah, I'm watching it right here on their YouTube channel, WWE YouTube. It says, Gunther gears up for WrestleMania by decimating Dolph Ziggler. Raw, March 27, 2023. This video's 3 minutes and 9 seconds. The match itself is 2 minutes and 7 seconds. Huh. Okay. I don't know why they would have had him on Raw when he had Drew and Sheamus at Mania from Smack. I don't know. Anyways, Battle Royal. Ricochet and Bronson Reed came out for the Battle Royal before we went to break. Almost everybody else was in the ring. After the break, we got entrances of Apollo Crews and Matt Riddle. So good to see Apollo Crews got an entrance. And then what do we get on an Apollo Crews video package later? So it sounds like they've got some plans for Crews, which I really like. That they want to push Apollo Crews as a somebody. Riddle chucked his flip-flops at Gunther at one point, which made me think, oh man, I want to see this match. But that's not the match we're getting. Imperium had to stop Gunther before he went after a Riddle. But I think that's teasing that in the future, we will be getting Gunther and Riddle. And I'm all for it, like big time.
Oh, yeah.
So
I thought Matt Riddle was going to win the Battle Royal.
Well, that's what I thought. I thought that was an early tease of, hey, look, we're just going to tell you now Riddle's winning. But no. Swerved us.
I thought it was going to be either Riddle or Johnny Gargano. And the reason why I said Johnny Gargano was because he fought Gunther over the weekend at a live event.
Yep. I thought the exact same thing, that was like a, hey, let's see how this match works on the live event, and then we'll set it up for the title match. I thought the same thing.
Fans love that match who were there.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. So Corbin, first out, immediately as soon as the bell rings by none other than Akira Tozawa. No, he eliminated Tozawa, and then he got eliminated by Loomis right away. That's what it was. I wrote it down wrong. He eliminates Tozawa and then gets eliminated by Loomis. Mace and Masay and Mansoor then eliminate Loomis. Chad Gable and Otis then eliminate Mace or Masay. Johnny Gargano super kicked Mansoor out of the ring, and Mace caught him, but then dropped him. When he saw Dr. Loomis, he got scared and ran away. Loomis then stalked Masay to the back. Maxine then seemed happy with Gable and Otis going forward. JD McDonough, who they like this guy. You could tell he was all over this show multiple times. JD McDonough eliminated Humberto Carrillo. Dolph Ziggler eliminated JD McDonough with a super kick, and Von Wagner eliminated Ziggler. McDonough then goes on the attack on the outside of Ziggler and beat the crap out of him, chucked him into the steel steps before officials had to stop him. Graves said that McDonough was tugging on Superman's cape in reference to Dolph Ziggler. And this all happened within the first 4 minutes of the 12-minute match. So after commercial break, the Viking Raiders eliminated Cedric Alexander, Zion Quinn, and Shelton Benjamin. Otis and Ivar collided mid-ring, which led to an exchange between Gable and Eric. They fought on the apron until Otis drove Eric off for the elimination. Ivar eliminated Gable, so Otis went after him. As they battled by the ropes, Bronson Reed eliminated both of them by himself, making him look very impressive. Everyone else started teaming up on Reed. Everybody traded moves moments later, which included Cruz bringing Reed down with a blockbuster. Cruz then eliminated Elias, but Reed eliminated Cruz. Riddle then brought down Reed with a floating bro before eliminating Riddick Moss and Johnny Gargano. Gunther ordered Imperium to go after Riddle, so they tripped him on the apron, which allowed Reed to eliminate him. Ricochet and Ali then teamed up, but they couldn't eliminate Reed. Ricochet tried eliminating Reed with drop kicks, but Reed caught him and stood on him on the apron. Ricochet, with Ricochet on Reed's shoulders at one point, Ali flew in with a missile dropkick and eliminated both of them to pick up the victory and become the new number one contender for the Intercontinental Championship. So Mustafa Ali will be challenging Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship at Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia. And they wanted this to feel like such a big deal that they set off pyro for Mustafa Ali winning the match. What did you think of the Battle Royal and Ali becoming the number one contender?
Battle Royal was fun.
I liked it.
But I did not expect Ali to win.
Nope. But this does go for it.
It should be a fun match, though.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
get me wrong.
Yeah.
But
Gunther works really well with high flyer style guys, and that's Ali.
he works well with those like smaller, like high flyer guys.
Yeah. And this does play into some of the reports we had heard recently that, hey, just because Ali's losing a bunch right now doesn't mean they're going to give him some here probably shortly. And boom, got a big marquee match on the pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia. Maybe it's only because it's in Saudi Arabia, but hey, kudos to Mustafa Ali. Becky Lynch then came out. Lynch said part of being the man, being able to admit you've been going through some stuff. We all go through struggles. But we put a brave face on so we could try to be the people, to be what the people want us to be. Sometimes, when we can't do it on our own. We ask for help, and that's what she did. She asked for help from Trish and Lita. She said Lita was great, and they won gold together. Trish came back and hadn't missed a beat, but Lynch missed the snake in the grass. Lynch missed what everyone else said they saw coming a mile away. Stratus only came back to help herself by backstabbing her like an egomaniac that she is. Lynch wanted to say, quote, "Thank you, Trish," because she turned a light on in her that she had been missing for many, many months. When Trish called her daughter stupid, she reminded her that the only thing that mattered in life was standing up for the people, for those people that mattered to her now, and Stratus gave her a target. She said that at one point, Stratus was number one. Stratus was her number one, but now Lynch was it in this business. Oh, okay, I wrote that wrong. She's saying Trish was the number one female, now she is. And she says, I don't even need a championship to prove that I'm it. Lynch said that she was it until she says otherwise. Kind of weird way to keep hammering that in. I'm it, and I'm going to be it. Like, it was kind of weird. Lynch would now show Stratus how thankful she is when she kicks her head in at Night of Champions. I thought Becky cut a great promo here, and the interesting thing is that originally the plan reportedly was for this match to happen at SummerSlam in Detroit. It maybe still can, depending on the finish here, but as we've learned, the match is official for Night of Champions because they're doing the contract signing next week.
I honestly wonder how much longer they're going to do like this rivalry. If they just ended at Night Champions or they continue it at SummerSlam.
What if?
I'm not saying I'm getting bored of this, but like.
I am. Trish was so bad last week. So bad.
Yeah, she was. Maybe she can do well in the ring against Becky.
What I almost hope they don't end up doing, though, is Becky and Trish lead to like Trish and Lita at SummerSlam, because we haven't seen Lita since Trish attacked her. There needs to be some sort of follow-up with that. And I'm like, I kind of don't want to see Trish versus Lita. If that is a possible route they go, since there's been no, update on Lita with all of this.
Honestly, what they should do is maybe during the Trish and Becky match at Night Champions, they should just Lita come out and just distract Trish and then have Becky win.
What if, or hear me out. She distracts Becky. Trish wins. No, I'm wrong there. She helps Becky beat Trish, and then nope, I was right the first time. She helps Trish beat Becky, and then we get Becky and Lita again.
Maybe.
And then that goes on to SummerSlam.
We see Becky and a partner of her choosing versus Lita and Trish at SummerSlam.
That could be possible. Where they can go, hey, guess what? Lita was never attacked. We faked that whole thing. Possible. Just spilling out some ideas. I don't know what they're doing here. We go to the back, and Ali bumps into Otis, Gable, and Maxine. He encouraged them to keep their heads up because things will eventually come their way. Keeps walking down and boom, bumps into Gunther. And I really like this. So Ali, basically, or Gunther congratulated Ali. He says, hey, you're going to get to travel halfway around the world to lose to me. The biggest loss of your career. And Ali goes, shakes Gunther's hand. And he's like, well, no. We're going to travel halfway around the world for you to not come back here with that title. Gunther made a little smirk, and Ali stayed positive and was like, hey, we're going to go out there, we're going to have a good match, and I'm going to take the title from you. I'm going to become the new champion. And Gunther kind of was just like, okay, we'll see. I thought this was great, making it to where, Ali's very positive. That's his gimmick right now. But he didn't come off as a geek doing so, because this could have been a little too over the top. He played it well. But it also made it seem like, yeah, Gunther's going to beat him. But we almost aren't supposed to think he's just going to squash him in 2 minutes either. Because Ali showed no, what's the word I'm looking for? Fear of facing Gunther. It's just like, hey, we're going to go out there. We're going to fight each other. Best man win. I think it's going to be me. You think it's going to be you? Cool, whatever. So I thought this was actually really good to... And maybe I'm the only one thinking like that. I don't know. Make us feel like, hey, this isn't just going to be a squash for Gunther. It's going to be an actual real match with these two.
Oh, yeah. Kind of like Gunther's facial expressions where he's like, is this guy joking right now?
Yeah.
So that was kind of like the vibe that he gave off. He just kept smiling. He never I kind of thought Gunther was going to start getting angry at Mustafa for thinking you seriously gonna win? But he just kept smiling, like this guy's crazy,
right? Dominic then mocked Xavier Woods on his way to the ring as the crowd loudly booed. Xavier cut him off and said that he was at least capable of fighting his own battles, unlike Dom, who had to ask for Mommy's permission. We then got Dominic Mysterio versus Xavier Woods again in a rematch. Match itself went 11 minutes. The Woods tried to go after Dom on the outside, but Ripley got in the way. This led to a commercial break about a minute and a half into the match. Woods was all over Dom following the break, hitting a rolling clothesline for a 2. Dom responded with 3 amigo suplexes, but Woods got his knees up on a frog splash attempt. Woods then followed that with a gutbuster for a 2. Woods then set her for a springboard elbow, but like last week, Ripley pulled Dom from the ring. Woods hit Dom with a dive and got in the face of Ripley yet again. Dom distracted the referee, and Ripley hit Woods and rolled him back into the ring. Dom then followed this up at the cradle to pick up the victory. So there we go. Dom was also getting tons of heat when this match ended. Crowd loves to boo Dom. What'd you think?
Match was okay. Nothing crazy. But yeah, Dom's doing such a great job as a heel.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you're getting that many boos, I mean that honestly just shows you're doing a great job as a heel.
Did you see the clip from the crowd last week on Dynamite when Christian was doing his interview?
I don't think so, no.
They booed Christian so loud in Detroit that if you were in that building, you couldn't hear Christian speaking on the mic. They were booing that loud. Jeez.
Christian does so well in the mic.
Yes. Oh, he's always been one of the best talkers. Always.
I don't know why they don't have him talk more on Dynamite.
Right.
How well he is on the mic.
I mean, he's gonna face Wardlow at the pay-per-view for the TNT title. As we move forward, we get a JD McDonough video package. Nice, simple video package here, just telling us who he is and what his whole thing is about. Then, interestingly, he's leaving the building, and Kathy Kelly runs down to interview him. Kelly approaches McDonough, who was leaving, and asked why he attacked Dolph Ziggler. McDonough explained that Ziggler has done it all in this business, and he was about to learn what everybody else on the roster would learn soon. Never bet against the ace. But, so he goes to walk off. Kathy's standing like right here, kind of looking towards, he was here, and the camera pans more towards Kathy, and then we see, up on a little perch, watching down on JD McDonough, Finn Balor. What's the connection? Do you know the connection of Finn Balor and JD McDonough? I think you do.
Trained JD McDonough.
Yep. Finn trained JD McDonough, and now they're trying to tease us that this man may join Judgment Day.
I mean, he would make a great fit.
I think he would, but I don't know if we need another member of Judgment Day. I think Judgment Day is perfect the way it is. I think the four of them, I think he would fit, but I don't know. It's kind of like, hey, they've been so good for so long. Don't make a change that could potentially mess things up. Like, what's the phrase? Oh, there's a phrase that I it's on the tip of my tongue. I don't remember it now, but it's basically like, hey, don't start messing with what's already bringing in the money or whatever. I don't know. That's not the right term, but regardless. Are they going to tell us that the JD and JD McDonough is really Judgment Day and he's been Judgment Day's McDonough this whole time?
I mean, I've seen a lot of people on Twitter saying, like, if they were going to add a new member in Judgment Day, it would have to be JD McDonough.
It makes sense because the connection with Finn.
But
hold on one second.
They could probably...
Magamilord got it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's the one. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And trust me, Judgment Day ain't broke. There we go. What were you saying? Sorry about that.
But, I mean, they could definitely go the route of Finn trying to recruit JD McDonough.
Oh, yeah.
I prepared you for this business, so why don't you kind of like do something for me and join the Judgment Day?
Hey.
Then
are you about to say what I think you're going to say?
Then JD McDonough's like, nah, I'm good.
Yep. And not only did he train him, but they fought in NXT UK once too.
It was their first takeover.
Uh-huh. So there's that history.
He was supposed to face Travis Banks, but then,
right. Yeah, all that happened.
Then they flew down Finn Balor for that.
Yep. That was really cool. I still remember that moment watching that show and Finn showing up and being like, whoa. That crowd was like so shocked and loved him. Hey, guess what?
I think Finn fought the next day or something.
Yeah, I believe so. So, unlike last time, it did not take, 17 weeks for Veer to come. Indu Sher, Veer Sangha, and Jinder Mahal showed up after 1 week. They actually wrestled. They took on these guys in less than 2 minutes. They didn't tell us their names, and Corey Graves said that I knew this match was going to be a squash. I knew these guys were going to get killed quick, and I didn't even think to learn their names. So they didn't tell us their names, and Veer and Sangha beat the crap out of these guys. Mahal then grabbed a headset, which was weird. He grabbed a headset and not a mic, because that means the people in the crowd couldn't hear him. I don't think. And he said that this is their story, and it's going to be written in gold. So basically, his thing is he's going to manage them and lead them to the tag titles eventually, maybe, hopefully. I don't know. So, yeah. Cool that they're actually using them, and it's not... I was fearful that they just keep the Veer joke going and be like, Indu Sher is coming. Or that we get promos, but we never see him actually wrestle. But I think these guys can be good monster tag team.
Honestly, this is a good way to bring Indus up to the main roster. Just have them face some local competitors for like a week or two.
Well,
and have them face like some people on the roster.
You remember in 2016 when they first did the brand split and what they did basically the same thing with Nia and Strowman. And that's how we got James Ellsworth. They brought in every week, they brought in a quote unquote extra or a jobber to get squashed. Remember, people might not remember. One of those jobbers that got squashed by Nia was Scarlett Bordeaux. Some people don't remember that. The one
was Britt Baker too.
I believe so, yes. Most people remember that one because she brings it up in interviews. But the Scarlett one, some people forget.
I feel like there was another one, though. I can't remember who. Maybe it was...
Lady Frost was one of them, I think, too.
I think Big Swole was another one as well.
I don't think so because she was with... No? I can't remember if she was with... No. Might have been Big Swole. Here, hold on. Big Swole... Monday Night Raw. Would have been on Raw. Let's see. Here, let me just type in Big Swole Nia Jax. Yeah. August 1st, 2016. You are correct. As we move forward, Imperium approached Owens and Zayn in the back. Gunther didn't appreciate the disrespect that they showed his men last week. Owens really didn't care and said, hey, you guys want to fight? We like to fight. We'll fight you next week. Zayn then made sure to add, oh, we'll find a third partner, though. It's not a handicap match. And Gunther was very pleased by this. It's not the last we see of Imperium. What do you think
They're
of...
making it pretty obvious that's going to be Matt Riddle teaming with Owens and Zayn.
Well, that's like, it's who else could it be? Ali? I mean, it could to just feed into that.
If it's not Riddle, it's got to be Ali.
That's what I was thinking. Cody came out for a promo. Very strong reaction from the live crowd. Rhodes said that he was familiar with this arena because it was the first home of Starrcade. He said Brock Lesnar wouldn't know that because, well, he's not here tonight. Rhodes told the story of the scorpion and the frog. Scorpion stung the frog because it was in its nature, and it was in Lesnar's nature to hunt. Rhodes knew that was his nature, but also asked the hunter, how's your face? Rhodes said that Lesnar sees a black eye and staples when he looks in the mirror. When Rhodes looks in the mirror, he sees the guy who put them there, and the guy who beat the biggest bully on the roster. Rhodes said that Lesnar was on top for so long because he was better than 99.99% of the people on this roster. But at Backlash, he was not better than Cody. Lesnar thought Rhodes' win was cheap, but Rhodes beat him with a wrestling hold in a wrestling ring. Rhodes said that this was about who was the next big thing on Raw. Everyone was right when they called Lesnar, quote, the next big thing for oh so long. But now it was simply time for what was next. Lesnar should take his busted face and step aside because he was simply in Rhodes' way of finishing his story. Rhodes also signed a couple autographs at the end of this segment in the front row. I thought this was good. I mean, it's not saying much more than he had already said. It's kind of the same stuff, just in a different way. But yeah, a decent way to build up him and Brock. Still not telling us what the fight is. If it's not a match, but a fight, is it a street fight? Is it a cage match? What is it? Probably just going to end up being a street fight. What'd you think of Cody?
Cody did pretty well on the mic tonight. I'm kind of curious how long they do this him and Brock rivalry. Are they going to finish this at SummerSlam?
So,
or finish at Night of Champions?
My thought is if Cody wins again, it's done. But if Brock wins, then they need the rubber match. And, I mean, you think Brock goes to London and they do the rubber match at Money in the Bank? Because hold on, what do we have? Because we have Night of Champions. Do we have a June pay-per-view announced? I don't think we do.
When is Money in the Bank? Is that
July? July 1st. But, so we have Night of Champions on the 27th. There's no June pay-per-view. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. You can't do a June pay-per-view. There's no time. Yeah.
Money in the Bank July 1st. There's no need to have a June pay-per-view.
There'd be no time. So that makes sense because it's the end of May. Yeah. Also, interestingly, WWE has changed the name of their live events. Usually they're branded on their website as, what is it? Saturday night something and Sunday night stunner or something like that. Now they're just all called super shows. All their live events are now. Oh, here it is. So some of them are called Saturday night's main event and some of them are called Sunday night stunners. But a bunch of these are just listed as WWE super shows. That's interesting. And then
Go
for it.
I know the one that I went to back last February was called like Road to WrestleMania Super Show.
Right. And then they have WWE Live, which is they're doing a small little European tour leading up to the week before Money in the Bank. Oh, and the night after Money in the Bank, they're going to do a live event in Cardiff, Wales. Okay. So instead of going back for like a Clash at the Castle in Cardiff, they're just going to do a regular live event. Okay. It's not the same building, is it? It can't be the same building. Hold on.
It'd be too big.
Way too big for a live event. I don't think it's the same building because this name I've never seen before. Cardiff. Nope, it's a 5,000 seat building.
You think they'll ever do a WrestleMania in the UK in the future?
I think the hard part. I think they would consider it, but the hard part is how early in the day it would end up airing in the U.S. And I don't know if they want that. I think they would want Mania in primetime in the U.S. Because like Money in the Bank, it's gonna be a morning show, just like I don't know how early it's gonna be. Money in the Bank, they haven't put a time on it, but like the Saudi show, Night of Champions, that's 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Money in the Bank, I think it's, hold on, time difference from time. Alexa, what's the time difference from New York to London? That's not what I asked for. Alexa, what's the time difference between New York City and London? Okay, so if they do the show at 8 p.m. in London, 76543, it would be 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific for Money in the Bank. If they do it at 8 local time in London. So that's the one thing that has always been their holdup of doing a WrestleMania in London or anywhere in the UK, the time difference from America.
I mean, it would do really well, like
I think so.
as far as ticket sales, but I mean, it'd probably make a lot more money in my opinion if they did it there.
No, I don't think so because they have to. Because if you think about it, they have to bring all of the WrestleMania stuff overseas. That's a big paycheck right there. That's a big fee to get everything overseas. Unlike here in the United States, just drive it by truck to whatever city. It's a lot more they're bringing. Because if they do like the Cardiff show, that they already know how much money they're getting paid by the city. So then they can allocate, okay, we got this much money. We can allocate this much to travel of the stuff and this and that. With Mania, I don't think they can go in there and do a Mania where they've already got a paycheck from the city. I don't think they're going to do it as one of these paid shows like they might do in Australia, like they did in Puerto Rico, and like they did in Cardiff. Now, Money in the Bank, they're not getting paid for that show. They're just going there to do it. So I assume that's going to have the regular set and everything. Nothing fancy or over the top. So that's another problem. It's not a paid show for them. They got to hope they sell enough tickets.
Should. I mean, it's a WrestleMania, though.
No, I think it would do well. But then the other question is, where do you do it? Because you ain't going to do it in like the O2 Arena. That's the size of Staples Center, 20,000. Do you do it in Wembley? I would think that would be the building. But then everyone's going to go, you only went there because AEW already went there. And then you're going to have that whole crap. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know where they would do it. And I'm from America. I don't know what the big buildings and big stadiums and everything in the UK are.
We could probably do the same building where they had Clash at the Castle.
Well, that'd be Cardiff. They could, but if you're gonna do a Mania, I would think you'd want to be closer to London. I just feel like that's more of a centralized area, and maybe I'm wrong. Never been to London. I've flown over London, but I've never been to London. As we move forward, Zoe Stark tried bragging to Nikki Cross about beating her last week. Cross didn't appear to be listening. Stark called Cross a freak, and Candice LeRae jumped in to confront her. LeRae challenged Stark to a match, and it seems like she accepted for next week. But correct me if I'm wrong, they did not announce it later on in the show. Then we got a sub 4-minute match. It's like 3 minutes and 45 seconds. It was Raquel Rodriguez versus Chelsea Green. And I love the way Samantha Irvin does Chelsea's entrance, where she's like, Chelsea Green. I love the way that she like tries to personalize some of these entrances for certain wrestlers. I think it's different. Like we've seen people, rated R superstar, and Mike Rome tries to do the Justin Roberts, Cody Rhodes entrance, and we've seen sometimes we get special, but I like the way that she tries to do it for a lot of different wrestlers, not just like one here, one there, whatever. So shout out Samantha Irvin, becoming the lead ring announcer for WWE, taking that spot from Mike Rome.
I like her. I like the way she announces Imperium, like Gunther,
Oh, yeah.
Giovanni Vinci, and Ludwig Kaiser.
Like Giovanni Vinci, Ludwig Kaiser. Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's like it's cool when Kaiser does it because it's just the way he says the ring general. But then it's like, oh, but he's doing it. That means Samantha's not doing it this week. God dang it. So Green got maybe a little bit of offense in early because Sonya distracted. And then Rodriguez clotheslined her out of the ring and was like, hey, I'm going to come after you next. Get out of here. She then gets her back in the ring, hits her with another clothesline, 3 fall-away slams, a twisting senton, and a Tejano bomb to pick up the victory. Then we get a shocking moment. Rodriguez is on the stage. She's posing after her match, and all of a sudden, in a funny-looking kind of moment, Ronda Rousey kicks her in the knee, and I go, oh, Ronda, you need to calm down a little bit. You could have blew her knee out the way you kicked her right in the side of the knee. Rodriguez immediately goes down. Shayna jumps her, and Rousey told Rodriguez that she must defend her title with or without Liv Morgan, or else she'll receive the same beating every single week. Rousey held Rodriguez as Shayna Baszler laid her out with the boot. So yeah, Shayna and Ronda are back, and they want the tag titles.
I kind of thought that Shayna was gonna like break Kel's nose with that knee to the face.
Paul Heyman. Well, actually, we see Gunther, and he extends his hand, and then we see a arm come up with a blue pinstripe suit, and we know that's Paul Heyman, and he shakes Gunther's hand. Camera then slowly pans over to like the chest of Paul Heyman. We see a cell phone, and he's got a goddamn visitor's sticker on his cell phone that says Paul Heyman Raw, the date, and they're like, okay, we're allowing you to come visit backstage because you're not a member of this roster. I thought that was funny as fuck, but a good way to say that's why he's backstage. Cool, whatever. I got it. Okay. And then he just says, Siri, call Roman Reigns. Something is going on with Imperium and the Bloodline.
I like it.
Oh, yeah. Roman getting other people to do his dirty work for him because he can't trust the Usos no more. He don't have, not that he can't trust the Usos. He ain't got faith in the Usos.
Maybe. Ooh, I got it.
Fonzie, one second. Fonzie, are you saying, I think he's saying that on Raw Talk, Candice versus Zoe was announced. Cool. Thank you, Fonzie. Go for it.
I was thinking maybe they hired Imperium to take out Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and if they succeed, maybe they'll give Gunther a title shot for
Ooh,
Roman.
that'd be interesting. Then we get part 2 of the Seth Rollins sit-down interview. Graves ran down Rollins' many accomplishments, and that's why the current version of Rollins was the best one. Rollins said that his hands were free of the wheel, and that was the fun part. There was a synergy between him and the fans, and now we're getting the most authentic version of himself. He said, it's not me trying to push the narrative, it is the fans telling you what they want. He said there was an organic relationship between he and the fans for the first time ever in his career. He, again, is not the one forcing the change. The universe are the catalyst of this change. Rollins said that he should be the new champion because it was time for a change again. The person at the top didn't want to take a risk with the title, and they were all about protecting themselves rather than pushing the industry forward, which is what he is going to do as the new champion. Do things that we have never seen before, make a change. And he said it's time for a new champion. Graves then specifically talked about Reigns and then said that part 3 will be coming next week. So we're getting more of him and Seth. Cool. I liked it. And I liked how Seth was like, no. This ain't the company saying I'm the big baby face now. The fans are the ones that started cheering for me. So yeah, Vince didn't push me. Hunter didn't push me and say, I'm going to force this guy on you now. They did it. And I liked that they brought that up, that it was the fans that organically turned in favor of Seth in a good way. We got 3 things announced for next week's show. Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns will be in, not Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes will be in the same building. We'll get a contract signing between Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus and a 6-man tag. It's going to be Imperium, Gunther, Kaiser, and Vinci against Owens, Zayn, and a partner of their choosing. And let me just double check. Fonzie said that, the Zoe Stark match was announced on, what's it called? Raw Talk. Let's see. I don't see anything on their social media, but I believe Fonzie. If he says it, I'll believe him. Also got the women's match as well. So we go into our main event. Match got almost 21 minutes. And it was Finn Balor and Damian Priest of the Judgment Day against the tag team champions Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in a non-title match. Early on, Owens and Zayn were in control, so Balor called for Dom and Rhea to join them at ringside. Judgment Day were then all of a sudden just in control after a break. Zayn came back with the clothesline on Balor, though. Both men tagged out, and Owens stomped away at Priest. Owens hit Priest with a senton outside the ring and dropped both Balor and Dom with clotheslines. Owens hit Priest with a cannonball for a 2. Dom tripped Owens, so the ref tossed both Dom and Ripley from ringside. As they were leaving, Xavier Woods ran down and attacked Dom. Oh, fuck, we're getting Dom and Woods again, probably. Heyman then popped out on this crowd, or on the ramp. And Priest seemed a little happy as we went to a commercial break. Also, does it just feel like right now we're getting like the best version ever of Kevin Owens? Like he's just stepped up his game and become so much better than he's been over the last couple of years? Is that just me? Or is Kevin Owens like on another level that hasn't been on in a very long time?
I think he's honestly stepped up. I really do.
Yeah, I feel like, and it could be, and this is just me spitballing, he knows that he's not just being used to get other people over. And I'm not saying Kevin Owens used to phone it in. Like the stuff he did during the pandemic with Roman was really good. But I just feel like now that like he knows that he's being focused on in a good way, he's really, really showing why he's being focused on in a good way and doing like some of the best work he's done in a very long time. Again, not saying he was ever phoning it in. I just feel like he's just stepped it up so much more. Judgment Day worked over Owens until Owens knocked Priest off the ropes and hit a senton. Zayn then tagged in and hit Balor with a clothesline and a Michinoku driver for a 2. Balor came back with a sling blade, but Zayn followed with a Blue Thunder Bomb for a 2. Imperium appeared at ringside, and the distraction allowed Balor to use a roll-up for a 2. Balor hit a reverse DDT, but Owens broke up the cover. Owens gave Priest a stunner, and Balor tossed Owens from the ring. Zayn then gave Balor an exploder into the corner and hit a haluva kick. Zayn hit it. I wrote this weird. Zayn hit it and had the match won, but Imperium distracted the referee. Owens then shoved Gunther before Priest laid out Owens with a choke slam. Zayn then wiped out Priest with a dive. Zayn then set up for another haluva kick, but Gunther held him by the leg as Kaiser and Vinci distracted the referee. Balor then dropkicked Zayn into the corner, hit the coup de grace, and pinned him to pick up the victory. Heyman is then shown very pleased at the top of the ramp. At the end of the show, Balor then imitated that they wanted to go after the tag titles or something after Night of Champions. They were kind of like doing the whole belts motion kind of thing. And yeah, so good, effective main event. But what's now this working agreement between Roman, Heyman, and Gunther? We'll have to wait till next week to find out. What do you think of the match and everything that ensued?
It was a good match. Very interesting ending. I think they can do?
Go for it.
If they turn this match to like a fatal four-way tag match, added Judgment Day and Imperium. Because, like, let's say they just had like.
Because I wouldn't like that because Owens and Zayn beat Imperium last week. So,
not Imperium, but like Judgment Day, and they can just go the route
triple
of
threat, maybe, yeah.
They just had KO and Sammy pin Judgment Day to make Roman still look strong.
That is the big question that I have. How are they getting out of this match? Is Roman winning these belts or is Solo taking the pin? Like, that's the big question I have.
Also, what I think they can do is just have Judgment Day just take the pin. You can still have Roman still look strong, and then you can further like build up their like stuff with the Usos. Like, oh, you didn't believe in us, so why should we believe in you if you couldn't get the job done?
Right.
Because if you think about it, like Solo, he kind of now has some beef with the Usos as well.
Oh, yeah.
If you think about it.
Mm-hmm. So there's a lot to be answered. We've got one more Raw and two more SmackDowns. Then we go in to Night of Champions, which again, I feel like they're doing a really good job of making Night of Champions feel important and not just, we're getting another pay-per-view type show.
They have to make Night of Champions important because they crowned their first World Heavyweight Champion with their new belt. But you have to make it important.
With that, guys, that is everything we've got as far as Monday Night Raw does go. But now we want to hear what you guys have to say about Raw. So let's head to the polls. As far as the Twitter poll does go, let's refresh all of these. As far as the Twitter poll does go, 66% liked the show, 25% thought it was just all right, and 7% didn't like it. As far as the YouTube community poll does go, 73% liked the show, 19% thought it was just all right, and 8% did not like it. Someone in the comments here says, I liked it. Someone says, nothing worth me saying it's great. Okay. Oh, and they said matches were fine. Said, I really like last week. It was slightly better. I could see that maybe. Because you had like all the tournament stuff. So I can see why someone would like last week's better. And this person says Raw was boring. I wouldn't go that far, but hey, everyone's entitled to their own opinions. As far as the, YouTube live poll does go, 67% liked the show, 24% thought it was just all right, and 10% did not like it. Looking over at the Twitch poll, only got a couple votes there. Everybody that voted liked Raw. Yeah. That is gonna do it. Luke, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me over at Twitter at Petke_21, and you can also find me over at Twitch at the Luke Petke.
You can also find me everywhere at Timmy Buddy. You can follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Follow us on Twitter at PW Unlimited. Follow us on TikTok at PW Unlimited, Instagram Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and so much more. We will be back Wednesday for AEW Dynamite. Going to be a big AEW day on Wednesday because that new Collision show was supposed to be announced. So we'll see what that all leads to. Here's my question for you, Luke. They announced Collision on Wednesday. Do they also on the same day announce the return of CM Punk? If he's going to be so tied to Collision.
It could. But I can also see them keeping it a secret. I feel like AEW Normally likes to keep a lot of things a secret.
True, but I feel like Warner Brothers is going to want the Punk name associated with this show immediately because they're going to want to make sure that they get as many eyeballs on it. And I mean, they can do all the teases they want, like they did with Rampage. I just have a feeling that they are going to announce Punk. I don't know why. I just have a feeling. But we'll see. You say maybe, I say yes. We'll see on Wednesday. With that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining us here. Have a great rest of your Monday. We'll see you guys next time. Have a good one, guys.